New today, President Trump is now blaming Iran for the bombing of a girls' school on the first day of the war after several media outlets reported the explosions were likely caused by U.S. airstrikes. Officials claim at least 165 people were killed in that attack in southern Iran, many of them children. Trump now offering his opinion without citing evidence.
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
If this proves true, it is probably, after 20 years of war in the Middle East, the single worst incident of innocent people being killed, the single worst civilian casualty incident. And it's kids. It's little girls. I mean, where is the humanity?
Joining me now, former GOP Virginia Congressman Denver Riggleman. He is a former Air Force intelligence officer, former senior advisor to the House January 6th committee, and a good friend to us. So, Denver, you are an intelligence expert. How do you interpret what the president is saying there?
Yeah, they know Iran didn't do it. He's lying. It's just so easy to see time over target for our aircraft, what kind of munitions they had, what the collateral damage is. All of that is just part of what we would do initially. And the fact that we didn't come right out and state evidence that it was Iran that bombed themselves through some type of false flag is actually ludicrous. And if you think about Trump in the past, if you're talking about the lies about J6, and a lot of people don't remember back in 2020, he retweeted a conspiracy theory that Osama bin Laden was a body double. This guy's been an inveterate liar. He doesn't worry about propaganda, what he's putting out to the American public. And, and again, when you see Hegseth say we're certainly investigating, he knew the president was lying at that point. It's just, listen, I did this for a living. That's what I did as a mission planner. I was looking at weapons, looking at collateral damage, looking at targets. And it is incredibly simple to know who pickled that weapon, what that weapon was, and to go back, look at time over targets to the air tasking orders, and to see who did it. So they would have come out with evidence that it wasn't us already.
Well, you are echoing the sentiments of Congressman Adam Smith, with whom I spoke earlier. But the analysis from a number of media outlets point to U.S. involvement largely, Denver, because the U.S. was operating in that part of Iran on that day. Israel has not involvement in that strike. And to your point, they did it right away. So some experts believe that the U.S. may have relied on outdated target information. If it turns out the U.S. was at fault, would you expect this Defense Department to apologize, as previous U.S. officials have done when targeting mistakes were made? I mean, can you see Pete Hegseth or Donald Trump apologizing?
No, they would say that, first of all, they're going to make up another thing. Inconsistency is part of conspiratorial thinking. It's also part of propaganda. But it's also a feature, not a bug in this administration. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, we knew that there were munitions there, but the Iranians moved the girls there, so we would hurt them. It'll be just another sort of sideswipe or a flanking maneuver. The other thing, too, about this, right, when you're talking about, again, this sort of false flag conspiracies is something downstream, Alex, that many people believe that vote MAGA. They don't really worry about the truth or facts or things of that nature at all. So that's really what we're looking at right now. Also, when you look at the incompetency of this administration, the people they put in charge, I wouldn't be surprised if they had old target decks. And let me give you an example, Alex. Back in 2001 and 9/11, we had old targeting decks. We had to go through and try to somehow manage those targeting decks to see what was real and what wasn't. So this isn't something that's uncommon.
There's another new headline today. U.S. weighs sending special forces to seize Iran's nuclear stockpile. An Israeli defense official said Trump and his team are seriously considering sending special operations units into Iran for specific missions. Is this the sort of mission you expect to hear about, Denver, before it happens?
Your question's so good, Alex. I'm sorry. It's insane that they would announce this. Literally insane. And I think part of it is to look at the public reaction and polling. So a lot of what you do, if you're going to put this out beforehand, is you want to look at public reaction and polling, because your decisions are not being based on what's best for Americans. It's being based on what's best for re-election or the 26 midterms, right? Or painting another narrative. So again, it's sort of this propaganda, sort of information forward ridiculousness that no real administration would ever do. Why would you announce that? Why would you announce special forces going in at that time? Also, if you did do it, what are you actually doing? Because of the incompetence of this administration, you're putting our soldiers in harm's way. And as somebody who served a lot of time in the military and a lot of time in mission planning for combat operations, I would be absolutely livid. I would actually be pushing this up to the command structure. Like, how dare the commander in chief talk about our guys going in a special ops capacity where we could be in harm's way? It's just absolutely just not just incompetent. I mean, it's criminal.
Okay, Denver, thank you so much for making it to the show. I know you were coming a little bit earlier, but we're glad we saw you nonetheless. Better
Alex,
late than
I'm
never.
so sorry I was late. I
All right.
apologize.
The control booth was dealing with it. I'm glad to have you now. Thanks, my friend.